Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia, and with me today we have Brandon.
Hello.
And we are to talk about games and things.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's the show. Wrap it
Yep.
up, folks.
That's it. It's over. We're over. We finished.
We finished. Anyways.
All right. Yep.
What are we on the agenda today? Resident Evil 4 remake.
And we sure do.
Mm-hmm. Diablo 4 beta. I got to play it this time.
I did too. Again.
Yep. Again. And you're going to sell us on Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Nintendo finally showed off some actual footage of Tears of the Kingdom.
They did.
So we got that to talk about too.
It'd be interesting in hearing your thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's the news section. Let's start with what we're going to play in.
Yep.
Ready to get into it?
We going to start with me? Or do you want to...
Well, I feel like, because we usually always start with the most relevant things.
Okay, well, I mean, I literally played Last of Us Part 1 on PC like 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
For the first time.
Is it relevant? No.
I mean, it will probably be relevant because it'll be news next week when it'll be the next game that's been removed from store shelves in a very long while. It is awful. I mean, awful. I'm talking like I've had my entire PC crash on me awful. I'm talking like 4090s can't run this awful. I'm talking like playing on low settings, it uses 8 gigs of VRAM awful. I'm talking like 3 crashes in the first 20 minutes awful. I'm talking like micro stutters out the fucking wazoo. I'm talking the developer that made this game removed their name from the store page awful. I'm talking that this thing had a animated banner on Steam's main homepage and it was removed an hour after the game released because of how poorly the game was performing for everyone. That's the level of awful that this game is. It is garbage. It is the worst port I have seen in so long, which lines up perfectly because it's made by Iron Galaxy, who also made the Arkham Knight port. The original one that started allowing refunds to be made on PC because they made such a bad port they were forced to refund everyone their money. And you know what? It's probably gonna fucking happen again because this is awful.
Sounds great.
It is so bad. I will give you my experience with it. You've already seen the show. You've already played the game. So let me give you my experience with it. So, you know, the big, huge opening segment and everything? Well, first of all, it defaulted to, you know, ultra settings because I have, like, the top-of-the-line hardware in my computer right now. So, yeah, I was playing that, and I was only getting 40 FPS, which was really fucking weird. So I was just like, okay, all right then. We got out of the cutscene where I was getting 40 FPS in the cutscene, and as it transitioned to gameplay, my game locked up and hard crashed.
Okay.
So going from cutscene to gameplay, it hard crashed. So I went in and I changed a few settings. Namely, I turned it down by adding, what's it called? DLSS, which is essentially a reconstruction technique that the newer high-end cards are able to use, where it does basically the same thing as like checkerboard rendering on PlayStation 4 and PS5 and that sort of deal. But it's done on the graphics card itself. So I turned that on and I played, and I got a little bit further, but then I had hitching while doing that epic crazy running through the streets as everything was blowing up and shit. And then we closed the door where it would transition to another cutscene between Tommy and me. And, you know, the big moment where he's fighting the thing as we go and, you know, we have to split up and I have to go off and my daughter has to get shot and, you know, all that good jazz. Yeah. As that big epic moment was happening, my game crashed again as I transitioned from cutscene back into gameplay. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. It was really neat. It was cool. So I rebooted it. And I got further into it. I got to the 20 years later time skip thing. I got to the part where the bombing happens for the first time, where you're at the checkpoint after you get the stuff and whatnot. And then it was really cool, and my game crashed. It was super neat. I loved it. And then And then I rebooted it another time, and then I continued playing, and I got to the part where we move the TV, and we jump down, and we go down there, and we go to get my mask put on and everything, and get everything ready, and that's about as far as I got before the game crashed so hard that it actually shut my entire computer off.
Okay.
So
Sounds
it
amazing.
is awful. It is actually awful, like
Mhm.
incredibly awful. Like am impressed at how bad it is. It is insane how bad that it is. Um, so yeah, this is not something you should buy. Um, it looks really nice, but it does not run very well at all, as you may have noticed from what I was just explaining. It has currently been out for a few hours, like literally only a few hours on PC, and it is already mostly negative, with like no one giving this a good review.
Mhm.
And there are even some people who have things like, this game is just a crash simulator. I crashed the desktop 3 times. I froze while killing and had to end up killing the task 3 times. I froze altogether with my entire Steam crashing 5 times. I had my entire PC hard crash on me once. And if that isn't enough, you may have remember I've mentioned things such as like shader compilation stutter and this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
and how it can be, kind of, toned down a bit, or
Mhm.
almost entirely eliminated by doing something such as having pre-caching of shaders, where you just have to wait a little bit before you start the game. Well, for Horizon Zero Dawn, when you boot up Horizon Zero Dawn, it takes about 5 minutes to pre-cache the shaders.
Okay.
For this game, took me 45 fucking minutes
That's
to
insane.
pre-cache the shaders. It was like a PlayStation 3 loading a game for the first time.
There's very
Levels
few
of
PlayStation
insanity.
3 games that were that bad. Like
Um,
that's horrific.
it's absolutely awful. And you know what? That counts towards your time of being able to play the game and refund it. And you only have a 2-hour window between starting the game and having the ability to refund your game.
Hmm.
As a general rule
Yeah.
on Steam and Epic and whatnot. And I mean, that for me, I had one of the lower amounts of time. Most people were saying it took them anywhere from between an hour to an hour and a half. Some people even reporting 2 hours, which is the entirety of the time that you could play the game before you can refund it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just going to get completely fucked to the point where like they're going to have to remove this game from Steam. And since the database has changed completely, and since all this other stuff has changed completely, I foresee that this game will be gone like before the end of the week. It is not looking good at all.
Yeah.
It's looking really bad for this game.
That's pretty wild.
It's insane. It's like actually crazy.
And I would even say too, even from Steam's point of view, I would be suspicious of any game that kind of, basically the install time, is going to take up the entire refund time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, that's not good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is unacceptably bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pulled or if they, at least, you know, force them to extend the refund window for it. Yeah, no, that's nuts.
It's
So,
bad. It's like this is the worst I have seen a game on PC in a very long time. It is unacceptably bad. And
it
for it to
sounds
be
almost
such
like
a high profile title, it is like completely unacceptable.
Sony's sabotaging their game release so the preferred way to play it is on the PlayStation itself instead of its competitors' systems.
And you know what? I wouldn't even put it past them, but on top of all of that, like you got to look at the other games that they've released, and like for instance, Horizon Zero Dawn, it was bad when it first came out,
Yeah.
right? Uncharted, it was bad when it first came out, and then Returnal, it was very difficult to run when it first came out. I was okay; I didn't really have any issues myself, but many other people did, so I will recognize that. The Days Gone, that actually is one of the best ports that Sony has put out, and I'm pretty sure that was done by Nixxes. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man are excellent ports, also done by Nixxes. I feel like anything that's not done by Nixxes is fucking garbage that Sony has put out. So yeah, there have been 3 titles done by Nixxes, and all of them have been really good. And then every other title that Sony has just kind of thrown to the fucking wolves has been really, really bad. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We will see, but right now it is not looking very good. And I
Doesn't
like I
sound
said,
like
I really don't think this game is going to survive by the end of the day. I think this might actually be pulled off the store by the end of the day because of just how awful it is. It is incredibly awful.
it. Yeah, it sounds like it. That sounds like it needs to go.
And there's also this really interesting thing. I've never seen 800p be an option for a game on PC. I've never seen 800p be an option for a game on PC. You can select 1800p, not 800. Sorry. I've never seen 1800p be an option on
Mhm.
PC. But it is in this game. And I was like, why why the fuck is that a thing? So I decided to do a little research. 1800p is the 60 FPS mode on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they just ripped this off the PlayStation 5 and was like, here you fucking go, and just threw it out there.
Probably.
And I like it feels like it. But then, you also don't have the kind of technology on PC as PlayStation 5 does with its SSD and the way it's able to, do all that stuff. So you've got those issues. And then on top of all of that, it is the worst experience I've had on PC in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since you've had this kind of a rant on a PC game.
It is incredibly bad. Like I am floored at how bad it is. It's actually amazing. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to swap things up for a moment
Okay.
and hop over to one of the best PC ports I've played in a very long time. And also one of the better games I've played in a very, very long time. I not saying this because of the thing I said before last year with the big bold red letters down there, but Resident
That
Evil 4
Resident
Remake
Evil
is legitimately incredible. It
the
is
best game of all
fantastic.
time.
I'm not saying it's the best game of all time.
I
It
think
is
that's what you
fucking
said it was.
no. If you look down, literally, if you scroll down to the bottom of our text document right now, you see where it says, shut the fuck up, stop. It literally says that it was recently edited by Mike Anastasia. Fuck off, my dude. Get that shit out of here. I said incredible. Those were my exact
It says
words.
incredibly
No,
best game of all time.
Bro, you wrote that shit. Listen, I said that it would be incredible, and you know what? It fucking is. It is so good. And not only is it good on my high-end PC, it's also good on my Steam Deck. Like incredibly good on my Steam Deck. Consistent 30 FPS, no issue whatsoever on Steam Deck. I could bump it higher, but I'd rather play with high settings. On PC, I don't drop below 60. It looks incredible in 4K, all the bells and whistles, ultra settings cranked to max, all that good jazz. The gameplay itself is great. I will go ahead and tell you this. Yeah, Kicking Doors is gone. You're right. Kicking Doors is gone.
That's dumb.
I do agree. That is one of the complaints I have, as well as the fact that the merchant has never said, "What are you selling for me?"
Oh
Not
no!
a single time.
Off,
Not a
right
single
off.
time. Not a single time. He has said, "What are you buying?" But he's never said, "What are you selling?"
What you
So,
selling?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, that's like quintessential. There's
They
fuck
did
in the game.
they did add some really cool elements to this game. Some things that change up dramatically how this game plays. It's actually kind of incredible. It feels fresh and new,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it feels like a completely different game at points and times, but the way that it's done works so well that it does not matter that it's changed. It just feels like it was always like that. I don't really know how to explain that without getting into major spoilers and stuff, but I will say a lot of elements of this game have been changed. But it's not a bad change. And there's been a lot added to this game. And I think the stuff that's been added to it actually does add a lot of value to the game. And then I think the little small mini games and things that were also added are really cool. I like the fact that with the trader now, with the merchant, he has bounties that he's put up throughout the entire map.
Hmm.
And when you pick up these bounties, you'll get like little odds and ends quests. Like I picked up one of them, and the quest was to destroy 3 rats. So then my thought was like, okay, well, where have I seen rats in this game? So then you go to that place, you kill the rats, and you come back to the merchant, and he gives you these little these new collectible items, and these collectible items can be traded in for new guns, new equipment, treasure maps, which reveal where all the treasure is in the game. So you don't have to pay for treasure maps. You can actually get them in game. So we're not doing an EA where you buy the like collectible map or whatever. You also can get this really cool thing where you played the demo of this, right?
Yeah.
I think we both had the complaint that there's no laser sight. I think we both had that as a
Mm,
complaint.
I
Or
don't
am I
remember.
talking to someone else and had that complaint?
No, I
Which
don't. I don't remember talking about the laser sight. That
okay,
wasn't a complaint for me, at least.
you can actually get the laser sight,
Oh,
and
cool.
and you can change the color, and you can like actually customize it quite a bit. And that's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's really cool, and I like that element of it. And I've seen way too many people be like, why is there no laser sight in the game? There is. You just kind of have to earn it now, but it doesn't even take more than like 2 hours to get the
Mm,
laser sight, so it's like whatever.
yeah.
Essentially, it's great. I love this game so far. I have like 0 complaints for
How
Resident
far have
Evil
you gotten
4
so far?
remake. I am in chapter 2 only because I've been doing a lot of the bounties, and a lot of them are like hunt down these medallions in different parts of the map. So there's a lot of backtracking, but I want to backtrack. And most of the time when I do so, things have changed. So I
Okay.
like that element of it. Like for instance, the entire church, right?
Hmm.
There's a building completely fucking collapses, blocks you off from going through different paths, and you have to go through like different like buildings and everything that you went through earlier in the chainsaw demo, like those
Hmm.
buildings, but you
Yeah.
have to go through them in different ways now because the church is completely collapsed. The church is completely collapsed, so you have to go about it in a different path essentially. And they like place new traps, like the enemies that
Okay.
were there. So like when you go back, there's different traps, like different placements for like bear traps and stuff like that. And yeah, it's neat. It's kind of got like again it seems like more things open up as you continue throughout the game, which it always did, but a lot of these things loop back on each other, and they loop back in a very natural way, more so than I think they did in the past, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, I just really like this game. It's fantastic. Like, I I really do think this is some of their best work that they've done with like remaking Resident Evil games yet. So it's awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than like it's fantastic and you should play it if you can.
Yeah. I'll wait to hear more about it first.
Yeah, I'll give you more info as I finish it. Um, let's move on from there. You and I both played a game. Let's see what your thoughts on this was because I've been waiting to hear this.
Okay. Diablo 4 beta. Is that what you're
Mm-hmm.
speaking of?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. I agree with all your comments last week, actually.
Fun.
Um, hmm?
I said it's very fun.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really well. I didn't get as much time into it as you did.
Mm-hmm.
I probably only got like maybe like 3 or 4 hours, I think,
So you
somewhere in there.
definitely exited like the first area after being drugged though, right? And
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that good stuff.
yeah.
Wasn't that shit like so dark? Like the way they did that? It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise. I was kind of, and it was funny too because I was only like half paying attention, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Why am I on a wheelbarrow all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden? And then, and then you kind of see it unfold, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I thought it played really well. I picked a sorcerer because I always like the magic people in
Sorcerer's
Diablo
fun.
when I
Yeah.
play. Um, yeah, and I think I got up to like level 10, I think is where it
Mm.
was getting to.
Okay.
So,
You
but
don't
yeah,
get
I
the
did a bunch.
extra stuff, but that's okay.
I know. Well, you know what though? I was thinking about it. I'm probably not going to buy it at launch anyways,
Mm-hmm.
especially because there's a part of me in my mind that's like, well, I'm feeling pretty confident that this deal is going to go with Microsoft, went through with Microsoft, so it'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be a Game Pass game eventually, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
So I'm like, I'll just wait.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, so I know it probably won't be a day one purchase for me, but it'd be a game that I would probably play through and enjoy. I like the story and the setting more than Diablo 3 already. Like I think it's
Absolutely.
more
Yes.
interesting and it definitely gives off like a bigger feel of a world and everything.
Hmm.
And I kind of like the lore and stuff that they've injected to it. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. I really didn't have any like major complaints. I thought it was neat just seeing like all the random characters running around. Um, I still got like lost from time to time. I wasn't
Hmm.
really sure what's going on. Some of like the quest waypoint stuff I think really wasn't explained very well, but I mean I figured it out.
Okay.
Um, because there's that one point where all of a sudden they like give you kind of like three or four quests and they're just kind of like
Yeah.
okay, and then I'm
Yeah.
like where did they go? They like just disappeared off the map, and I start fucking around looking for it. I'm like, oh, okay, here's where I gotta go, and here's where the options are for where I can go and what I can do, and
Hmm.
those kind of things. So, um, yeah, no, I like that stuff. I thought that was neat. I like the way that they did um, like the kind of the map for the abilities and stuff this time because that was a little
Hmm.
bit different.
The map's
Um,
huge too.
yeah, it looked
Like
like it.
it
You know,
fills out like to become massive.
yeah. So I thought that whole thing was pretty interesting. And the abilities that I had, I thought were pretty fun too. Like they definitely, some of them were similar to the abilities that I had when I played Diablo 3, but then I don't know, some of the abilities I had seemed like it was completely new.
Mm.
So I don't know, I had like this kind of like electric yo-yo thing, and that was just kind
Oh,
of fun. So
that's neat.
yeah, I like that. And
Sorcerer is actually one of the few classes I didn't play.
oh, interesting.
I played
Uh,
Barbarian, Rogue, and Necromancer, and they were all fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really don't have any complaints. I think didn't the in the console game didn't like the right stick used to be like a dodge or something
I think
like
so.
for
I'm not
Diablo 3.
100% sure, but I think
Yeah,
so.
that was one thing I kind of like felt like I was missing. But one of the boss battles I was into was just kind of weird.
Which one?
The one where you're fighting the chick's mom.
Ah, yeah, yeah. What was weird about it?
Oh well, at first I didn't realize what was going on. I'm just like
Oh,
running around
yeah.
killing things, and then I'm like, well, the health is going down, so I'm like, I must just have to kill these things to kill her.
Yeah, essentially, since she had like inscribed her blood to summon all of those monsters and
Hmm.
everything, they were tied to her. So
Yeah,
as you killed the monsters that spawned in, it damaged her because Lilith had tied them to her, and as such, she was like draining her own life force because she was a fucking idiot.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is what I came to like assume
Hmm.
with that scenario. But there was what was it? I died there like twice
Oh
because every
wow,
once in a while like a boss would just pop up and just be like
I
like what
see.
like a bigger monster than what I was expecting. I think I was pretty low level for what I
You
needed
were
to be there.
very low level if you were only level 10 at that place. Most people I ran through that place with were at least 15.
Okay, yeah, so I was pretty low level then,
Yeah.
but I beat it. So
I
you
know.
know
Nice
what?
job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. And yeah, no, I thought it was good. I thought the game was a little bit chattier than I liked. But I think it just
Mm,
because they had a lot more voice acting for like just random things as opposed to
yeah.
the text for a lot of things. Like I
They
feel like that.
wanted to build lore like a
Mhm.
lot more because I feel like the lore building in 3 was just like exposition dump.
Mhm.
It was just like, oh, and here's a bunch of info that no one cares about. But this it actually feels like a story is unfolding, and I like
Mhm.
that a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, no, and like I said, I like the lore stuff that they had here. I thought it was interesting. And especially too, considering I wasn't really sure where they would take it after Diablo 3. I feel
Yeah.
like they had like a good place. The opening cutscene I thought was pretty rad.
Uh,
Um
the the oh, what about the church cutscene?
oh the church
That
cutscene was
was that's my favorite. It's so fucking good. I
hmm
love how that man just gets bashed in the back of the head and it just splatters all over the glass like window. It's so good.
remind me a lot of surprisingly like Eternal Darkness, honestly,
It
when I
did have like a feel like that. It had like a
Mhm.
very um goodness, what's it? Like otherworldly feel to it. Like you got to see everyone like snap and turn against the guy on like that like just the drop of a hat essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, they were just like, we're done with you. Good
Hmm.
day.
And the big bad just waltzes out while talking to her son while the man's being beaten to death in the background. It was good. It was really well done.
Yeah. I thought so too. I thought they did a great job with it. So, yeah, like I said, really don't have any complaints with it. I thought it was
Hmm.
really, really well done. And I mean, I guess I would say if I was gonna nitpick anything, I don't think like graphically it was like a huge leap over three,
Uh-huh.
but um, not that it detracts from the game. Like you don't need anything wild for it. And I thought it was nice too that they did like they do the graphics are good enough that they held them for the cutscenes. Like they just changed the perspective and everything.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was great. I played it on Xbox One, and not at one Xbox Series X,
Hmm.
obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought it played really well with it. So, when I booted it up the first time, it's like your wait to join the game is 20 minutes, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah,
Um,
that can happen with queue times because they're pretty. Like, there's a lot of people going into the server at once, and since it's an
mhm.
online game,
Yeah,
queue times can be kind of crazy.
but it was only that one time. After that, like it was
Hmm.
pretty good. So, yeah, I guess really, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. Like I said, it was just really enjoyable. I'm interested to see what else it has. Because I know you got to see more, and they even tell you there too. They're like, it's only the first
The first
area.
chapter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're like, there's a lot more to go and see. I mean, it feels like it's a very. They're like, this is a beta, but it feels like a very complete beta.
It's a
Honestly.
very big beta. Like, it
Yeah.
was 78 gigs, I think the download was. It was huge.
Sounds about right. Yeah, no, it was very hefty, and like it included all those cutscenes and all that voice acting
Hmm.
and everything. So, and obviously all those different character classes and everything with that. So, yeah, no, they did an awesome job. So, I agree, very impressive with what they were able to put together there.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you
I'm
have any extra thoughts. You played it on? Did you play it on console or PC again?
I played it on PC.
Uh huh.
The first time I played it, they had an issue where it wasn't. I mentioned the I needed more RAM literally in order to choose high settings,
Uh huh.
like on textures. I believe I mentioned that on the podcast. I'm pretty sure I did. I think that was what I said was my only complaint. The second time I played it, they removed that restriction, and I was able to just play it normally with no issue
Oh,
whatsoever.
good.
So, yeah, it was great.
Obviously, they must
I
have
had a
taken it
blast
seriously.
playing. I mean, like they're clearly already making improvements on it, even just in the beta. So I'm very happy with how
Uh
it
huh.
turned out.
Yeah. I guess we'll see more when it comes out in June. Are you going to get
Absolutely,
it right when it comes out?
possibly. Katie wants it, and so do I. We both want it, so might get two copies.
Yeah, that's pretty good in. And I mean, obviously the two of you, it's nice to probably have games where you can play together. It's not like there's a
Oh yeah,
terribly large
definitely.
amount of them. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. So I guess I'll talk about the next thing. I actually got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe while it was on
yeah,
sale, as well as the DLC.
nice.
Yeah,
Did you buy the DLC or did you just do the expansion pass?
I'm not doing the expansion pass. I'm on someone's family plan,
Oh, okay.
so I was just like, I'll just buy the DLC. Plus, since I had already gotten Mario Party and I had already gotten Mario Kart, I had a bunch of gold coins. So then I was just like, you know how much I had to pay for the DLC altogether?
What is it, $20?
No, 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 no. With all my gold coins combined, do you know how much money I had to pay out of pocket for the DLC?
Oh, probably nothing.
51 cents.
I
So, so that's it. Yeah.
love that when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I've played a few of the DLCs now. I've been playing through mostly cups. So, I'm just going in order, like the 50cc, the 100 and 150, all that good jazz.
Yeah.
And I'm playing like each one of the cups in each one of the modes. And I once I got the DLC, I played a few of the DLC ones. I played the whichever one has the pinball one. I played the one that just released. Actually, it'd be easier if I just look at the Mario
Look at the
Kart
website.
website. Yep. Let's
Yeah, I
see
don't
if I find
remember the cup names, anyways. I'm like, I know which ones you're talking about when you say those things,
it.
but I
Hmm.
couldn't tell you what the cup names were.
Okay, so the ones I have played so far, I've played Turnip Cup, which has New York Minute, Mario Kart Circuit 3, Calamari Desert, and Waluigi Pinball. I've played Bangkok Rush, Mario Circuit, Waluigi Stadium, Singapore Speedway, and I think those are the only ones I've played so far.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the only two I've played so far. So the newest one and the one that looked the most interesting to me altogether. And that new Boomerang one, which had the Warligi Stadium and Singapore Speedway, this is pretty good. Mario
Yeah,
Kart
no,
Circuit
that's
was
a
a lot
great
of
one.
fun.
Mhm.
Warligi Stadium was fantastic. I have realized though, every tour like stage is garbage, like just all of them. Like,
Well, they're not garbage. They're just not exciting.
so they all have this issue that I
Mhm.
have where um each lap it changes the route every single time,
Correct.
and because of that, on first go, which I only did play them once,
Mhm.
it's really hard to find the shortcuts because of the fact that it's just like I don't get to see the same, lap three times. It's a
Yeah.
different one each time. And as such, it was just kind of annoying. Yeah, I was seeing new stuff, but it was still kind of the same theme. And it kind of didn't add much to it with any of the new stuff. Like, okay, I think it was Bangkok Stadium on the third lap, you go up a parking garage. And I was just like, all right, cool, sure, whatever. It just didn't feel interesting. Like, it didn't really flow very well, in my opinion. I
Mhm.
don't think the tour stages work very well, to be completely honest. They just feel cheap. And
Yeah, I
like
mean, I
I
would say
know they're
that.
a mobile game, but they just don't feel good to play. They're just bad. I do
Yeah.
see here that there are one, two, three new stages completely, like are completely new, and I haven't played any of those. And I really want to check those out
Should
now.
be four new
Oh, there
stages.
is Ninja Hideaway. I haven't checked that one yet
Yeah.
either.
hmm Yeah, the Yoshi's Island one is the one I was telling you about last week, and that one's phenomenal.
Okay.
The other three, I really wasn't a fan of,
Okay.
but the
I'll have to
Yoshi's
try
Island,
that.
one of
hmm
the best, one of the best of the entire DLC.
So, who was your go-to racer?
Lemmy. I always play as Lemmy now.
So mine is Squid Kid female.
Okay.
Every single time, I have so much fun playing as her.
I
But
like that
yeah,
they added all those new characters. I feel like someday Mario Kart will probably evolve into like Smash Kart kind of thing, but
hmm
I feel like that's almost what they have to do for the next iteration. Like I don't
yeah,
know unless they have like
definitely.
some revolutionary idea. Like I feel like that's just kind of the next big injection they can have into the game. I don't know, especially if they keep building on this, which I could see them doing if they wanted to.
hmm
Finish up this set of courses and be like, guess what, folks, we're gonna do 8 more cups. Like, yeah, sure, let's keep putting them out.
I'm looking at like the Wave 4 stuff right now,
hmm
and I actually think I played all of these. I gotta see one more time. I definitely played DK Summit. I definitely played Wii DK Summit. That one was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it's a
Uh,
great choice.
Tour Amsterdam. I've played this too. Okay, so I definitely played both cups. Uh, I think. Honestly, I don't know. No, I don't think I did play them actually. Okay, I gotta play the Yoshi's Island at the very least. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. Easily one of, like I said, one of the best Mario Kart tracks, I think.
There's a lot of content in this DLC though. Like it is actually very impressive what they've packed in here.
hmm Oh yeah, and it's still got 2 more drops to go.
Are there more characters coming?
Yes, there's
Okay.
4 more character slots
Yeah, I
coming.
see. I see the extra character slots, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What we got?
Yeah, and then we don't know what they are,
hmm
and all the rumors that have come out about them have been proven false. So
Okay.
nobody knows what they are at
All
the
right.
moment.
Well, so far, I'm very impressed with this. I really like it. I'm very happy I got the whole game for $40. I'm very happy that it still is just so much fun to play, and the DLC is really good. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you do the bundle that was the Mario Kart and the DLC?
Nope, nope, because I was like, I'm not going to get the DLC right away because my friend has it. And then I was like, my friend's not going to be online that often. So, like, the literal next day, I bought the DLC myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I imagine with someday too, like especially with the shutdown of the e-shops this week, it
hmm
does make me feel like I would like to buy the DLC at some point, just so
hmm
that I like have ownership of it and don't have to worry about still
I
having to.
almost feel like not owning stuff and just getting it through the Nintendo thing is
Mhm.
kind of them trying to make it so people have to double dip when eventually they do shut down the other eShops as well.
Possible. I mean, I don't mind it as much with like the older games to some degree. It's like most of the older games I already own in like a physical form on those older systems.
You mean like the Super Nintendo ones, the N64
Yeah,
ones? Well, no, I'm
Game
talking about like
Boy.
specifically like the Splatoon DLC,
Oh no,
the
no,
Animal Crossing DLC,
I
all
know you're
that
talking
stuff.
about those. I'm just saying also as like a side to what you're saying. Like those I don't mind it as much for because it's more of a convenience thing for me for those. But
Hmm.
with the other ones, I agree. I mean, I already own the Splatoon DLC. I
Hmm.
could definitely see myself, rebuying, um, or actually physically buying the Mario Kart DLC at some point. So yeah, no, I mean I agree. So they probably will get that extra money out of me at some point too. Although a
Hmm.
lot of it's going to depend on, what Nintendo's long game is. If they're going to keep, if the rumors are true and they're going to keep up with like the Switch line and, whatever the next system is going to be, you know, more iterative and backwards compatible with what they already have, then it
Hmm.
probably won't be an issue for some time. And I also think that if that's also the case, they probably will end up putting out another set of tracks for Mario Kart because the game still sells ridiculous.
Okay.
Even I don't know how old Mario Kart 8 is at this point, like
I
12
feel
years
like
old.
they're gonna go from Mario Kart to Mario Party next. I'm hoping they do.
I don't think so. I don't know what it is. Mario Party does not like Mario Kart 8's over lifetime span like sales between the Wii U and
Hmm.
the Switch is just disgusting. It's like a
Yeah,
sickening number. Let me see if
you're
I can
right.
find it.
But how? So here's the thing, right? Are they sales numbers or are they like numbers of copies? Because there's a big difference, especially since it was bundled with both the Wii U and the Switch. So like then you have to think like, wait a minute, what what's going on here? Which one is it? You know?
Hmm. Let's see. According to this article, it has
Hmm.
sold 52 million copies as of December 31st.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
Even
wild.
if it's just like half of those, it's just
And it,
fucking nuts.
and it says for comparison, the game was at 48.4 million in September of 2022. So even in those last 3 months, it still managed to sell 3.6 million copies.
That's insane.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like comparisons like Mario Kart Wii, which you remember sold also insane amount of copies,
Hmm.
37.38 million in its lifetime. So the Wii Mario Kart
Jesus.
8 for the Wii U only sold 8.46. So that 52 million is only the Switch version.
That's insane. That's
Hmm.
actually insane.
Yep. Mario Kart DS 23.6, Mario Kart 7 18.97. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Animal Crossing New Horizons 41.59 million. Smash Brothers Ultimate 30.44.
Twitch is doing some crazy numbers
Yeah,
for games.
yes they are. What was that? Sword and Shield 25.68 million. Breath of the Wild 29 million. Mario Odyssey 25.12 million. Yeah, no, they're doing well. And then eventually you get Super Mario Party 18.79,
Mm,
which is nothing to scoff at.
that's
But
Super Mario Party, like the one that recently came out.
nope, the one before it.
Oh, that's the bad one though.
Yeah. And that one sold 18.79 million.
Oh, so the other one hasn't sold good?
At least it's not in the top 10 Switch games of all
That's a
time.
yikes because the other one's so much better.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's why I said, maybe, but I feel like they'd probably just, I'm sure they look at
Yeah.
that 52 million and be like, well, do we get more money making more Mario Kart tracks? Or, you know,
Yeah.
anyways,
Hmm.
uh, what else do we have? So you talked about Mario Kart. You talked about all your things. The only
I
other
have.
things I could just throw up there, just to kind of put up there, just because they're kind of more like update things as
Hmm.
opposed to anything like wild and exciting, is I played Tetris 99 this weekend because they still do those cups occasionally, and I just like to
Nice.
make sure I keep getting the little themes. This one was actually a lame one because it was Fire Emblem Engage, and it was about as amazing as the game is, which is just very,
It's
you know.
so not engaging. It's bad.
Yeah, so there's that. Although interesting thing, and we have not talked about this, and I'm actually, I'm surprised we didn't because it's surprising on its own. You
Hmm.
do realize, so they put out the season pass for it. You realize the season pass is done next week.
No,
Yeah, the whole season. It's already done. They've already done 4 content releases as of next week.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And everyone's just like, oh, that's wild. But like usually season passes take, a pretty significant amount of time to, get out there.
Hmm.
And they're made to like, keep people to come back to the game, and over for, a decent amount of time. But this
Hmm.
was just like, let's fucking blaze through it. Like that's basically, the first drop of the season pass came in January with the game, and it's basically been every month since then. They put out another one.
Crazy.
Yeah. The internet's theory, and I mean, who knows, it's a plausible one, is that because there is, and I know I talked about on this podcast, when they data mine
Hmm.
Engage, there is
Another
data
Fire
in,
Emblem.
yeah, there's another
Hmm.
Fire Emblem. So like, I wonder if they're blitzing through this so they can get this game out the door and release the next Fire Emblem as fast as possible. So
I hope
possible.
so because the last one sucked.
Yeah.
Engage is not good.
And I can't see that. I will say, like, I can't see them getting the next Fire Emblem out the door like this year. I would be surprised if it was an end of the year title, because for them to put out 2 Fire Emblems in one year, it seems like kind
They
of
did it
a.
with Pokemon.
Mm, yeah, but those 2 Pokemon games were like pretty different.
Who knows how different the next Fire Emblem game will be?
Well, the next Fire Emblem is supposed to be a remake of the Super Nintendo one, the first Super Nintendo.
Oh,
I guess not the first Super Nintendo one of the Super Nintendo ones.
then again, I could say they did it with Pokemon.
Oh, I guess yeah, I guess they did.
They
Uh,
did.
yeah, well, in Pokemon's case, I guess in the span of the year, they released 3 Pokemon games. One of them
Hmm.
was a remake, one of them was a brand new game, and then
Hmm.
one of them was what?
Bad.
Pokemon Scarlet. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. They could. Although I feel like Pokemon has like the buying power to actually like sustain something like that. I I mean, I know Fire Emblem is becoming like a bigger title. I I hesitate to say that it could probably hold up to 2 major releases in one year, especially when one was kind of lackluster. But
Yeah,
uh,
but even that one being lackluster, you look at Fire Emblem fans, they're like, "Yeah, it was so good," and it's like, did we play the same fucking game?
I don't know, if I when I look on Reddit now and see the Fire Emblem stuff come up, I feel like the consensus basically is that Engage is not that great.
Hmm.
People seem to be not high on it like they were before.
That's good
Um,
because
they realize the
I.
story's kind of trash
Hmm.
and just kind of like fan servicey.
Yep.
So, which yeah, I mean, I think those are all like
It's just a
reasonable.
fucking mobile game for $60.
Yeah. 90 if you buy the DLC,
Uh,
which I mean, I probably will end up buying it just to see. But
yikes.
well, I guess maybe depending. I want to see what this final. I'm more interested in the extra story stuff to see if it's interesting or not. I still
It
haven't
won't
finished
be.
it yet. I know it won't be. I still haven't finished the game yet, but I'm more now that I'm like at a point where I could just inject the DLC into it and finish the game in one fell swoop. I'm more interested in doing it.
Mm.
So I'll see. I mean, I half started up this weekend with kind of the intentions of starting to finish it more, and then I was like, wait, no, the DLC comes out next week. I should wait and see what that's all about before I go too wild. So yeah, so yeah, there's that. It was quite a. I mean, I guess not a wild detour from Tetris, but Tetris is still great. You forgot Tetris 99's out there. They still do those Maximus Cups from time to time. What was
Hmm.
that? I mean, then I did Scarlet or Violet or whichever Pokemon, which whatever one I have. I don't know Violet.
Okay.
Because I did that because I like the Terror Raid battles where they put out like the mightiest mark Pokemon, where you kind of get
Okay.
like the Pokemon from the last generation with like kind of top of the line stats. And this one was, who was it? Oh, it was the owl, and now I don't remember its name.
Hmm.
Yeah, Rowlet? No, Decidueye. Yeah,
Mm.
there we are. There's Decidueye.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like it was. I don't know. Those battles are always fun, and they're just kind of good. I feel like it maybe just me, but it felt like with the patch, I really didn't explore the world. It was just kind of a terror raid battle this time. It
Hmm.
seemed like it worked a little bit better than I remember
It
it
does.
last time.
It does work better.
Yeah. So I didn't go wild exploring the world, so I don't know how the rest of the world is. But just at
The
least my
patch definitely made the game run better, like
okay,
very much so.
yeah, I'm excited to see what the DLC has as it comes out later this year.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, nothing like that. And I think that was all I really wanted to kind of like update on those two things. So yeah. Ready to get on to news?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
All
big
right,
news
let's
this
get the
week
news.
is that Nintendo today spontaneously was like, "Hey, let's show off some Tears of the Kingdom. Remember that game that's coming out in 2 months that we've been neglecting to tell you about? Well,
Hmm.
prepare yourself for some new information." And also, too, just kind of side note, I guess people were getting pissed off this last week because Nintendo was like spending their social media time talking about Breath of the Wild. And they're like, why are you talking about Breath of the Wild when you have a brand new Zelda game coming out in 2 months that we don't know anything about? So yeah, so they're finally like, well, let's do something about it. And Aonuma comes out and he shows off some new features of the game, and I thought they were pretty interesting, honestly.
I did
The
too.
the gameplay hooks that they put in there, um, I think with Breath of the Wild's engine and what it already has in it, offers some pretty interesting possibilities. Like you have this ability now where you can fuse things together into
Hmm.
new items or new weapons, and it showed how you could like take a stick and fuse it to a boulder, and now you got kind of this wild hammer thing.
Makeshift hammer. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Or like, you could take a stick and fuse it to a pitchfork and get like a pitchfork that's like super long.
Bro, you know what this shit reminded me of?
What?
Dead Rising.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think when I was thinking about it though, as interesting as the weapon stuff was, I think the thing that was actually the most interesting was the environmental stuff that they had laying around, putting together. Because I was already imagining it in my head. People are gonna think of some wild
Oh yeah.
shit. Um, because they're like, oh, you could take these trees and fuse them together and turn it into a raft, and then you can attach these fans to it and use it as like a boat. And I was like, oh. And they're like, oh, remember all those little air devices that you've seen were like these flying around? Yeah, we
Mhm.
built those. You built them yourself. And I was like, oh my goodness. So
Mhm.
yeah, no, like this game is just like it's it's turned into the, build whatever you want and just go around and do crazy shit with it. And I think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be like as say revolutionary as Breath of the Wild, but I do feel like it has enough of a hook to be like something very
I'm
interesting.
definitely feeling like a Majora's Mask Ocarina of Time sort of deal going on with this one.
Yeah.
I definitely think I could see that coming here. And I'm totally for it, honestly. I
Mhm.
don't like the idea of this being $70. However, holy shit, when he jumped off that mountain and looked around and it looked like I was straight up inside of a Ubisoft title because there was so much fucking shit everywhere on the screen. I
Yeah.
was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, "Yep, you can go anywhere you can see. Just yep, there you go." He's like, "I guess we'll just land in this water here, like nobody's business." So, or then he's just like, "Oh, you know what? You want to climb up this mountain? Well, if there's a little cave in it, you can just swim inside the mountain to
Yep,
the top or whatever."
yep,
I forget
yep.
what they called the ability, but it was just like ascend, I think, or something to let you climb through the ceiling. And you're just like, "Yep, just whoosh." It's like, "Oh, that's wild." And that there's gonna be some wild shit where
Crazy
it's like,
speed running strats with that shit.
well, you're
It's
gonna
gonna
have
be
that,
amazing.
or you're randomly gonna go into a cave and you're gonna use that to get to the top, and you're gonna be in something random, like some
Something
hidden like
awful.
cavern that you never knew was there. Yeah, there's gonna be so much hidden random stuff in there that you're never gonna know about. Which Breath of the Wild was bad enough on its own, but this one I feel like is gonna be twice as bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, this
just because
gameplay did a really good job of convincing me that this game should exist.
yeah, I think it's just kind of because I really didn't know what to expect. I was kind of like, well, what abilities can they bring to this game? We couldn't really imagine, um, and how can they really differentiate up this gameplay that much?
Mhm.
While trying to keep it similar to the previous one, and I think they did a good job showing that. So
Yep, I think
with
so
those
too.
fusing abilities, like the rewind time kind of ability, where you can kind of like you know, ride on like things back through time or whatever.
Hmm.
That was neat too. You can see some interesting possibilities with that. So it'll be really interesting to see what they end up doing with all this. And I assume that it's probably going to be quite a lot.
You want my hot take?
Hmm.
Because I have a hot take for this game. I
Okay.
think, and this is my hot take. You can write it down if you want. I think this will be better than Breath of the Wild,
Uh-huh.
but I think that already just from the gameplay we saw, I think this looks worse than Breath of the Wild by a
Like in
large
terms of
margin.
graphics or
Yes, absolutely.
oh
The
god.
shadow quality did not hold up well, like at all. It did not look anything like the smoothed over shadow quality of the original Breath of the Wild. The colors didn't pop as much. They seemed very bright, but also kind of like faded in a way that didn't like really make sense with the way of like where you were at in the game itself. The like actual like aliasing was really really bad, and if you look at it and Breath of the Wild side by side, Breath of the Wild looks way better.
You know, I can't speak about the shadows because I wasn't paying attention to those
Hmm.
when I watched it. But I do agree with you on like the colors and how I kind of felt about the graphics. Like it really didn't feel like it popped.
No,
I kind of like mentally was just kind of like I was watching it on my phone, so maybe that's some of it too. But I
no,
was
I
kind of like,
watched it in on the 4K monitor, and it did
yeah.
not look good.
Well, no, I wasn't even gonna blame my phone on it. I was
Hmm.
gonna say like it I kind of almost felt like with the quality they had, it was like they were recording it like on a camera in front of the screen as opposed to recording from the device. But obviously, it was
I'm
too clear for that.
pretty sure
But
the game is so big and there's so much in the game that they had to dial back the graphics in order to maintain a frame rate.
very possible.
Which
I mean,
even with saying that, when you look at like some of the gameplay, some of the frame rate was a little hit and miss here and there. It was kind of obvious and noticeable in some parts. I got that big feeling of like, maybe we might have some problems here, but I do think the game itself looks fantastic. It did
mhm.
a great job of convincing me that this game should exist, and I kind of want it.
Yeah. Well, you know the best way to do it is vouchers.
Yep.
Yeah, get your vouchers, and you know because you can
But
also use
here's
it
the
with
thing. I
yeah.
need to be convinced that that $70 price tag is like there. Like that there's a reason for that $70 price tag. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I've been convinced now that this game should exist. But now
Mhm.
I need convincing that that price tag is worth the price. And I will also say when he jumps off or gets blown off the sky island and
Oh yeah.
everything and makes it back to the ground and then you're on the ground, I do think the game looks better when you're on the ground. Like
Oh,
I
definitely.
actually think it looks better then. Like the
Mhm.
aliasing kind of comes back, the soft shadows are back on Link. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's something to do with like a draw distance where they like bring in like the resolution and make it less when you're like high up and everything or something. I don't
Mhm.
know. But like when he's on the ground after doing the whole skydiving thing, which looked really cool by the way, um the game looks better than when he was on the Sky Island.
Yeah, I can see that. And it kind of makes sense because, like you said, you know, they wouldn't have to draw as much probably because they could
Hmm.
probably constrict the camera and the draw distance a bit more when you're down on the ground.
Hmm.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
How do we feel about the building aspect of things?
Oh, like the fusing and everything?
Yep.
Oh, I told you. I think it's gonna be wild. People are gonna make just the most insane things out of it. Like I
I
don't
know
think
that,
we.
but I'm saying like how do you feel about it as like a gameplay aspect? Not like from ooh, I can't wait to see what other people do, but how do you feel about it?
Mm, I think it has some interesting possibilities, and I think that what they showed off just in that like, because I mean, obviously they picked a place where you can kind of just demo it pretty easily and just
Yeah,
kind of like
with the
show off.
like boat they made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
So
that was cool.
it says to me that they already have more clever ideas of how to use this,
Yeah, like
and
the
they're like,
enemy that had the fan weapon. That shit was
yeah,
cool. That shit
hmm
was really cool. And
yeah,
then like when
or
they
even the arrows and stuff too. I forgot about
yeah,
all that
the
until you
homing
mentioned.
arrows that he
Yeah.
created
Hey,
and
like, yeah,
being able
remember all
to
this
tie
bullshit
any
you
of
can
your
thing?
yeah, that you could
Mhm.
do like nothing other than like cook food with. Yeah, how about you just do this instead? I loved that element of
Yeah,
the game. I thought it looked really cool.
I
I
thought
think
that
this
was a
looks
great idea.
fantastic,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah. No, I think that this is going to be like I said, I wasn't really sure what to expect with this. And I don't think anyone was because we really have not seen anything. We know nothing about this game. This is the most we found out more in this 10 minutes than I feel like we have
Oh
the last
shit,
like
the
2
smoke
years.
screen. The smoke screen that he
Yep.
created. That
hmm
shit was so cool.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just like, hey, here's a mushroom. It's something, you know, if they hit you what you're using is you can merge it with your shield and if they hit you, it turns into a smoke screen. And then you can sneak up behind them and and surprise attack them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, no, like the stuff that they added on here, like I said, I think I was only expecting kind of like more of like a iterative, you know,
I was
release.
expecting a DLC with a $70 price tag. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah,
This
just like
actually looks like, just from what we've been shown this little bit, I definitely see the value of this not being a DLC. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, no, they definitely have surpassed DLC level stuff here, just with the sheer amount of content that you can tell that they've put in this
Hmm.
game and the way that the new gameplay elements are going to change the way that this game is going to be played.
Dude,
Like,
fusing things together when your weapon's
mm,
about to break to make a new one, that shit's
yeah,
gonna like that's going to be game changing, because I
mhm,
always feel like everything's breaking, and even at the beginning they showed how everything was still just breaking. And
yeah,
then they fused it together and it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, now it's not breaking." All right.
yeah. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, notice how much more sturdy this is once you fuse it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, genius. Um, and like, I mean, obviously, it's still going to have like that Breath of the Wild feel to it. Like,
Mhm.
obviously, it's not that wildly different in that regard, but just with all the extra systems in there, it's
Mhm.
going to be, I feel like, pretty significantly different how it plays once we actually play it.
I agree.
So,
I do have one way. I gotta play devil's advocate for a second. I do have
mhm,
one way I know that this could turn out poorly.
yeah.
If you get fused like 10 hours into the game,
Oh, that would be dumb.
it would be awful. I would be so angry.
Yeah, you got to remember they gave you, at least in Breath of the Wild, they gave you basically all your abilities within the first hour of the game.
Yes,
So
that's what they need to do again, including with fuse.
I agree. I think they probably will. I think they'll give you
They
all those
have
abilities
to.
kind
They
of
have
right
to.
away. Um, yeah. So no, that's a good point. It'll be interesting to see, but really, we don't have to wait that much longer. I mean, it's only
Yeah,
like 6 weeks away at this point.
it's true.
So, and in between now and then, we still got Advance Wars 1 and 2 supposed to be coming up
We
for
do,
real.
don't we?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely more than enough to keep you busy in that time, I would think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Resident Evil
Um,
just came out. You can play Resident Evil.
That's true too. I still have enough stuff that I gotta play through. I'm
Yeah, I
like
know.
not short of things to play at the moment, which feels weird this early in the year. Usually, like it used to be. Remember, like February, March used to be like, hey, you got nothing to play, and now
Oh
all of a
yeah.
sudden it's like,
And now I can just make suggestions to you since you have a new console also, so you can play like the more recent games. So I'm like super excited for that.
yeah, if I if I could find time to play them, that's the
Yeah.
issue. Um, yeah, because I'm still there. Gotta play through Dead Space 3
Mhm.
still. I got finish up Fire Emblem Engage. I got to finish up Kirby. I
Yep.
got some other stuff that I had started and just haven't finished yet. So
I
I'm
think
just
you
kind
should
of
check
like,
out Atomic Heart before the end of the year.
I,
Definitely.
I told you I downloaded it. It's on my Xbox One.
Mhm.
So it, assuming as long as it doesn't drop off of Ultimate
Game
anytime
Pass?
soon, yeah,
Yeah.
then
You should also check out Disney Dreamlight Valley. That game's fucking fantastic.
yeah, a lot of people have been talking really well about that as
It's
well.
so good. I kind of got like deep into it like a few weeks back, and
Hmm.
it's so much fun.
Yeah, so definitely no shortage of things to play. And then there's some other stuff on my backlog that I just keep meaning to pick up, like during sales. Like I don't know, I do want to get some of the other like games that are on the Switch that I really enjoyed in the past that just kind of have them like available on the system because
Hmm.
that's one thing I love about the Switch. Kind of turned into like my retro device where it has like all these old games on it from everywhere.
Hmm.
So, I've been slowly buying things as we've talked about. So, but yeah, like every time the Resident Evils go on sale, I'm like, oh, I want to pick up that. And I'm like, oh, I want to get more of the Final Fantasy games on there. And I'm like, oh, I want to do, and it's almost overwhelming anytime something comes on sale that's on my wish list. I'm like, should I buy this? And like lately it's just been like, no, do not buy this right now. You won't play it. And it always because it's my biggest weakness is
Hmm.
if I buy something and I'm not ready to play it at that time, I will never play it.
Yeah,
Like it
I
just
feel you.
once it's there and it's always there, like my interest in it, like Dragon Grandpa. I told you I bought it on the Switch when it was on sale for like
Yep,
$7. Have not played it. Have no interest in playing
it's
it, and I
it's
forget
so
that
good.
and I forget that it even is on there half the time. I'm like, "What's this game?" I'm like, "Oh, Dragon Grandpa. I
Yeah,
forgot I
Katie
bought this
started
game."
playing that one, and then it got removed from Game Pass in the middle of her playing it, and she got pretty upset about that.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Oh, they just took it off too, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Because I remember because I saw the thing. It's like, "Hey, these things are leaving Game Pass soon." And I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, I didn't know these were on here." And then I was like, "Oh, but I already have it on the Switch and I haven't played it there either." So, yeah. No, yeah, no, understand. But I do, like I said, I do really enjoy having those things available. Um, yeah, so there's that. Although, and actually, just kind of rewind to Zelda really fast. There was a very hot second when I started that Zelda video where I swore Aonuma was going to be like, "Hey guys, I know you're all looking forward to the release of Tears of the Kingdom, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, the game is going to be delayed again." I swear that's what he was going to say. I did not think for a second that he was going to be like, "The game is completed." Uh,
Yeah.
just the way he set it up just sounded like he's setting you up for bad news. Um, but there's that. Yeah, no, okay, that was kind of a rant, but yeah. The only other thing I saw this week,
Hmm.
which is a rumor, and I think it is a fake rumor
Okay.
because it's from one of those like, you know, um, one of the people that works at one of the, I don't remember which outlet, but they posed a rumor that Skies of Arcadia is getting remade.
I saw that rumor also, actually.
Yeah, and it's the rumor itself is very exciting, and I feel like if you threw out that rumor and it was not true,
Hmm.
and you were not sure that this game is actually coming, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So that makes me inclined to think that it's probably real. But it's just also one of those like, eh, what they? I don't know. It is definitely like the Renaissance period for that era of games right now. Like I feel like any game of any sort of weight that came out during that time
Hmm.
is either getting remade or re-released. So it makes sense that Skies of Arcadia would be, up for bat.
We got Baden Kato's coming, and that's pretty fucking crazy already in and of itself. We already had Grandia 3 remade, which
Yeah.
was pretty big. Um,
Tales of
so like
Symphonia, which was
Tales of
exciting, but also
Symphonia, which
shit.
yep, garbage. Yeah.
They said they're patching it though.
I'll
So
believe it when it happens. Here's the problem with their Tales of Symphonia remake. They use the PS2 version again. Every remake of Tales of Symphonia uses the PS2 version, and I'm so fucking sick and tired of people using the PS2 version. It is the worst version of the damn game.
yeah, I actually just watched a video interestingly recently where they talked about how that if you just ported a ROM of the GameCube version
Hmm.
and just kind of up-resed it,
It would
it
look better
runs
than the
better.
remake. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It sure does.
But I guess Namco lost the source code for the GameCube version at some point and just would rather just keep iterating on that crappy
This
PlayStation
fucking
version.
just fucking emulate it.
I know, really. Nobody would know. It's like that Instagram meme, like nobody would know.
Hmm.
How they know? Nobody would know. Yeah, just stick it in like an emulator and shove it out there. It'll be 1,000 times better.
Listen,
They
that's
didn't.
literally what Konami did with the fucking Castlevania collection. And you know what? It's fucking great. It's great. It's great. They just emulated it. And it's great. Like,
Yeah,
just do that.
and I'll be honest, I will get sucked into double dipping on Tales of Symphonia again at some point. I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale, and
Mm.
preferably after they patch it.
Hmm.
But because it's one of those things. Like I like the game enough, and if they fix some of the dumb
You
things
remember
that
when
are
I
in it,
warned you about this
oh
remaster?
no, I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't ever
Well, no, no, no,
disbelieve
no,
it.
no, no. Well, no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The remaster on PC came out, and I'm gonna tell you when real quick. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's been years.
It came out 2016 on
Mm-hmm.
PC. They have never patched it. Do
Did they
not
say they were
expect
gonna patch it?
no, do not expect them to fix it is what I'm trying to tell you. It's the same people. I mean, like it's the same version, right? And the problem is it was made as a cash grab. And it's the
Oh
same
yeah.
thing that the one that was on the Switch is. 100%.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a great game, but you just got to kind of look past that and be like, yeah, it's kind of shit though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm expect. Let me just tell you, Brandon. My expectation with this patch is not for it to be like magically the GameCube version again. That's not my expectations for it. My expectation is, well, let's fix the annoying bugs that are in here, and then maybe it will be a less infuriating port as opposed to like I'm not expecting it to be like I would tolerate okay port. It's a great game. I have the GameCube version. I could just play that. So I can tolerate okay if that makes sense. I just don't want like absolute shit slap port.
Yeah. So here is the biggest issue. A
Mhm.
lot of GameCube games, right, are actually better than their PS2 counterpart. But
Oh
then the
yeah,
PS2 counterpart ended up getting the remasters. And that's for a lot of games. And it sucks
yeah,
so bad.
yeah. Yes, it is. Um,
Like the GameCube was more powerful, but like people didn't use
yeah.
it.
So things will get announced as exclusives and then eventually just make their way over
Yep,
to other systems. Yeah. It just, it happened with this, it happened with Resident Evil
it did.
4. The problem I think with this one too in particular, and it happened Resident Evil as well to some degree, but um, when they ported it over the new system, they
Mhm.
brought over new content with it too. And so
Yep.
that's part of the reason why this Tales of Symphonia version I think has gotten locked as opposed to, maybe even trying to emulate it because they can't add that new content they added back in easily. So
But
they're just
is the
like,
new content worth it when you could
no,
play it at 60 FPS instead of 30 and also have a better experience?
no, no, it's not.
It's not.
And
It's not worth it.
I don't think anyone
And
has
it's the same
argued.
with Resident Evil 4. The PS2 version of Resident Evil 4 made massive cuts to the game, but added new content.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
it was not a great version of the game.
nope.
Like I think it was one of those odd things even with the Wii version
Hmm.
because it was like the Wii version, despite being you know an iterative system from the GameCube,
Hmm.
got the PlayStation port
Yeah.
of the game with Wii controls added back. Yeah, weird.
Yep.
Hmm.
So I do have a few other things to talk about that I have seen that I wanted to bring up. The Game Pass is no longer doing the $1 deal thing. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that?
It didn't really affect me one way or another.
My honest thoughts are I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Yeah, I think
Like,
that's a fair take on it too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, because I mean, it's a pretty good deal. It's great to get people switched over, but I don't think they need that word of mouth anymore.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's going away.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm. Do you have any other thoughts on it too?
No, I just thought it was kind of weird that a lot of people were like acting like it was like the end of the world because it was going away. It was
Oh
weird to
no,
me.
definitely not the end of the world. Yeah, it's just kind of like surprise,
Yeah. Yep.
surprise it lasted this long.
I guess the other thing is the person that outed the Switch that was going to be dropping for Breath of the Wild that worked in
Hmm.
the factory also mentioned how there is another Switch that is a new revision of the Switch
Hmm.
that's not just an OLED. And I don't know. I know we have a new one of these every other week, but like they've gotten three things right so far, and apparently they do actually work at the factory. So like, so when do you think Nintendo's gonna announce this fucking update?
I think, assuming that it is coming, it's probably going to be this.
Holiday?
Well, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be coming this holiday, which means
Mm-hmm.
I think they would announce it at probably like the September direct, I would
Mm-hmm.
guess. Because that would mean like September, they can have it out 2 months later, gives them enough time to show off the system and get people hyped for their holiday stuff. Um, yeah, so that's what I would guess. And is this update? So since I didn't see it, is this kind of more like a system refresh, or is this like Switch
No,
Pro
we're talking
to?
like a pro-ish sort of deal. Uh, I I gotta see what it was fucking called. My friend linked me to the thing. Let me see if I can figure out what it was called.
I think people are just picking names for it, honestly.
Well, no, the person had taken photos of not it, but something else. Wait a second. Uh, okay, so apparently the photos were taken on December 29th, 2022. And that's when this person mentioned something under the name of IQ00 Neo 5.
Uh huh.
that's just some code name or some shit. We don't really have any other information for it yet, but that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah, and I guess I will go on to a few more things that I have not written down here, but I would just want to talk about. CS:GO is my favorite game of all time, and I may have mentioned in a news story how someone through NVIDIA accidentally leaked that CS:GO 2 would be a thing in the upcoming months. Yeah, it launched last week to
Surprise.
chosen people. So if you boot up the game and it's like you have access to CS:GO 2, you've gotten the CS:GO 2 for
Did you
the
get the
early test
CS:GO
period.
2?
I did not.
Oh, you should have played more.
Yeah, 6,000 hours isn't enough. Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But like also like big major pro players and people in the YouTube like scene and everything of CS:GO that constantly advertises it and opens up cases and gives them all of their revenue also didn't get in, so it's not just me.
Yeah, no, that's too bad. Do they have like a time frame as to when it's actually coming out?
This summer, I believe, is what it was listed as, like the official release. It's free. It's free for everyone. It's just going
Oh, no.
to swap over from CS:GO to CS:GO 2. So it's
Okay.
like an update to the game itself. But the update is actually very substantial because it kind of changes the way the entire game plays.
hmm
So like smokes are now interactable objects. So you can like shoot through the smokes and like actually as your bullet passes through a smoke, the bullet and the smoke interact with each other. So it forms like a hole in the smoke essentially. So you'll be able to see like people as they're crossing and that sort of thing.
Oh,
So if
nice.
the more you're able to shoot through the smoke, the more you know, of a vantage, like a view, you'll be able to see, like of people that are trying to cross over and get to site or what have you and whatnot. I'm gonna look at CS:GO 2 on their official site and tell you what their date is. So here it is. The next era of Counter-Strike begins this summer. So it just
Okay.
says this summer.
So it could be
But
any time.
yeah, it's supposed to be in like the next 3 to 4 months, I think.
Yeah. Are they going to add more people into it gradually?
Yes,
Or
yes, they are. They are. So I still have a chance of getting into it, and once I do, it'll probably be all I play. But I post in the general chat. You can see all the updates, and there's quite a substantial update, and the actual like views on the page shows you like you can actually pull the screen back and forth and see the difference in the two games and the updates to the game and whatnot.
Oh, nice. Smoke looks good.
Oh, the smoke looks awesome. And you see like how like when they threw a grenade into the smoke, it explodes the smoke and gives them like an opening to shoot through before the smoke fills back up. It's
hmm
so cool.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. That's all I really wanted to mention. But it has actually driven the price of like skins up massively because people that are in the beta already have been like showing what their skins look like in it, and some of the like 30-cent skins that you could
hmm
buy and everything have now jumped to like $10 because they just look so good in CS2. So people are buying them in preparation for CS2.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
cool that they're taking the time to update everything.
Yeah, it's neat because the new lighting physics essentially is what changes the way the skins and things look. So it's based on how lighting reflects and refracts and whatnot and bounces around the map in order to like show off how different skins look like better or worse in some cases in CS2. So some skin prices have like dropped massively and some have just shot through the roof.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, they're spending the time, like, I said, make sure that, everyone who has invested time in this game,
Mm-hmm.
is getting something interesting out of it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had this game since fucking 2012. It's an old game.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's not new.
2012,
We've been talking
2012,
about this game since
2012.
we've been doing the podcast.
I love CS. It's like my go-to video game.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, there is one other thing we can talk about today too. So I feel like it's gotten surprisingly relevant over the last couple weeks.
Hmm.
E3 is definitely dead, even if
Oh
it's
yeah,
not officially
100%.
dead.
Yeah, Ubisoft just pulled out.
Yeah, Ubisoft's pulled out. They're having a hard time getting anyone interested in there. And supposedly Nintendo and Xbox have both said no, and Sony was not even there last time they did it. So yeah, no, I think it's dead, 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 dead. If they can even manage to finagle anything together with what's left, I would be shocked. But it's dead. Stick a fork in it. It's not coming back.
Mm-hmm. There's
Yeah,
no point to
yeah.
E3 at this point.
Which is too bad because E3 used to be like my favorite time of the year, and just like I know some of it was the pandemic that kind of started to push it over the edge. But no, I miss those days where you had like just the back-to-back conferences, like all that whole Monday. It was like Christmas. And you just watch from one to the other, the other to the other, and just kind of get just video game overload. And now it's not there anymore. That's end of an era. Although I guess the era's been over for a couple of years, but now it's like really end of the era. Yeah, and with Ubisoft pulling out, like I felt like they would go to anything, and yeah, no, that's just disappointing. Okay, but that is really all I have.
Yep, me too. I've got nothing else.
Okay, ready to wrap up?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, or you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon,
Hey.
any final thoughts?
No, not really. I'm good.
All right. That's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin, there or on your favorite gaming console. And until
Mm-hmm.
next week, game on.
Game on. Thank you. Katie just handed me pizza.
Well, that was nice of Katie.
And now I need to get a drink. Are you okay with that? Okay, could you grab me a Sprite? Thank you. Yay. I have pizza. My pizza arrived.
Hopefully it's good pizza.
It depends. I don't know what kind of person you are. So,
Well, it depends. I range wildly on pizza.
I
Loves.
like pineapple.
Nope, you're gross.
All right, then. There we go. You're a wrong kind of person. Got it.
No, I'm the right kind
Thank
of
you, sweetheart.
person. And if Nick
No.
was here, he would agree with me.
No, see, here's the problem. There's absolutely nothing wrong with pineapple and ham on pizza. It's
Mhm.
just fucking society and people in general have been conditioned to be like, ew, that's nasty. Ew, I don't like that. Ew, it's
Oh,
bad. When
no,
most of the
I've had
time,
it
those
before.
people haven't
It
even
is
fucking
gross.
eaten it.
I guess what? I have, and I can tell you factually, it is gross.
And it's delicious.
It's just absolutely nasty. And if Nick was here, he would agree. Because I know, because we've had this discussion before on this podcast.
Fucking weak.